Okay, so start off with white, and then take my number 5, just a little bit of it. And then we normally do is put it there and see if it's visually in between 1 and 5. We can cheat it by doing this, bringing this guy out. So what I want to look for is a number 7 value. Okay, so this will help me put that there. It's too light. Okay, just take a little dab, put it there. Even if when it dries a little darker, that might be still a little too light. So I'm gonna go a little bit more of that number 5. And if I go too much, what will happen is I'll get a number 6 and I won't get a number 7. If it gets too close to number 5, I'll get 6, but I won't get 7. So if you do it this way, you'll always be able to tell. If you don't bracket it, what will happen is you end up going here, and then you have like, it looks like a nice in between, and then from here to here, you have a big jump. You want a very small jump between each one, okay? Subtle gradation, so it's a gradient value scale. This looks like it's gonna be okay. Maybe a little bit more. And I'll post this video. I'm recording this interaction right now. So if you guys have questions, right now is a good time. I'm recording this session, this part of the session, so that you guys can look back on this later on and be able to refresh your memory on what to do. All right, so again, test this out. Looks lighter than that one. Looks like a good in between this one and that one. Okay, and I'm just gauging it by vision, right? And by testing it there. And right there, it looks about right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on there. And you guys would probably have to mix a lot more of this. I'm just doing this so you guys can see what I would do and how I would get this value scale set up. Now my number 7's done. Now I can start over again and add some white, or get some white, and do number 8 or do number 6. Okay, but so if I add more white, what I'll be doing is number 8, right? So I'm gonna start with this one. So that means that this one can't get darker than that. Okay, so that's the reason why we bracket it, so that now I take this value, or this color that I mixed, and I'm gonna mix it against white. So no matter what I do, it's gotta be darker than this and lighter than that. And I just want it to be somewhat in between. A little bit more. Make sure it's nice and blended in. Looks good. All right. Okay, so I have those three values. Now I get number 6, and I'm just going to do this one. You guys can do these. Okay, but basically it's the same exact mechanics. Okay, let's clean my palette knife. Sometimes we don't know why we're getting poor results. It's typically having to do with dirty equipment or too much water. The brush is ready to go. All right, so now I'm going to take the weaker value, right? Start with that, and then add 5 to it. And you guys would obviously have way more paint than I do here. I'm just trying to show you how to do a quick study or like a sketch for this. Then I would definitely mix a lot more, like a bigger batch. But I have something to compare. Maybe it needs a little bit more. Yeah. There you go. Again, very little water will get you a nice result, nice and even. And that section is done. Any questions? No? You got it? Okay. So when this dry, is going to dry slightly lighter. When these dry, they will dry slightly darker. Okay, that's one of the properties of acrylic and gouache. Watercolor is not that affected by it, but the lighter values will dry a little bit lighter. The darker values will dry a little bit darker. Okay, so from what you see as in of this color in a wet state. Okay, all right. So this is what you guys want to get done on the final board by Wednesday. At least this get done, and then we can talk about mixing it against a color, right? And then we can talk about this. The reason you want to do something like this, just to test it out, is to see what your colors will do. And if you notice in this section here, the colors look nice and vibrant. They work on the camera. This yellow might not look as vibrant as it looks to me. But if you have one of these, you can test it out to this. And that yellow is pretty close to that. That green is not too far. So what I did is like I tested directly on this thing, right? So I mixed my colors. Orange. This is this orange. It's very easy to make that orange look red orange. So make sure that your orange, you're testing it out to this. Okay? And then you don't go too far into the red orange. All right. If you go too far into the red orange, you'll have a big step. You won't have a nice gradation right here. The colors that are really important for you to mix are these right here. So your violets. If your violet is not well balanced, your violet will go brown. Okay, so that means you probably need a different blue or a different red. Okay, if you don't have this set, you got to tell me so that we can look at your colors, and then I can maybe give you some ideas as to what it is that you can do. If you have a larger set, I can give you some of that information. If you have a small set, I can give you some of that information too. All right. I know that the small set of Reeves will never get you this color. Okay? These will just be brown in the small set of Reeves. the larger set of reefs, which is the cheapest gouache you can get. The larger set, they give you more blues, so you can mix different blues against your different reds, and you get something that approximates kind of this. This is kind of a dark value scale. Ideally, I like to hit this color range in the violets. With the CMYK set, you can actually hit this violet very, very easily. If you don't have the CMYK and you have this RYB, so that's red, yellow, blue. So it's an RYB set. They add this green, and it's just like the dumbest thing that I've seen. I don't even understand why. My thing is they're trying to do like RGB, so you can do RGB, so red, green, blue. It doesn't make sense to me, honestly. You can't really do much with this. You're not a TV. Anyway, questions on that? Okay, so again, I'm gonna.
Do we need to also keep the other shades in the little containers, or just the number 5?
You want to do the other shades, the other values too. Okay, so we want to start calling them also by the correct terminology. So these are values. Okay, so you wanna keep these values, because when you get to this, you're gonna need 8 to mix with the prismatic color. So like in this case, I'm mixing 88R. So that means a lighter reddish gray. So it's toned down. So I need this, I need this, I need this. So I'm going to use these a couple more times. Okay. The one that I won't use will be the number 2. Okay. So maybe that one you don't need a lot. This one you need enough to mix this one. This one you need enough to mix these two. This one you need enough to mix this. Right? Actually, 1, 2, 3. Plus all of these. So that's why that number 5 you need a lot more of. Okay, good question. Thank you. We can talk about this on Wednesday. So if you can just at least get this sort of, like, I notice I didn't tape anything. I'm just putting down the colors, seeing if these colors will get me decent results. They do. They're not the best by far, but I can see the violet, and I can make it blue violet, and I can make it red violet. So it's a little muddy, but it's better than others. Okay. So today, I'd like for you guys to get started with this. Notice how it's now dried. It's further from that. It's still sort of in between these two, and if you just squint your eyes, it looks like a nice gradient between these. Okay, so it looks like this is transitioning like a shadow, and it's darker as it goes here all the way to that black. Right? Basically what I did in this set. Okay, so just the same way I did this, I'm gonna do that. And this is just to show you guys, but I would be right now, I'm like, okay, I know what I gotta do. Mix more of these, and then I'm ready to do the larger board. If you want to start on the larger board, you can start on that. Test smaller sections. It's just that if you make a mistake, it's a lot harder to put it on there, right? So these can be reconstituted. So I'll show you guys what happens if you try to add more water and add more color on top of that. So nice set, looks good. But if it's too transparent and now I come in with more wet medium, I can ruin this. Which one should I ruin? Let's run 5. It's not reconstituting. All right, good. So you can actually paint over these. This is not real gouache. So, lucky for you guys, you can do this. I wet the hell out of this thing and didn't come off. So, awesome. It's acrylic paint. It's not gouache. It's just really flat acrylic. Gouache is actually watercolor, so you can reconstitute watercolor. And you can reconstitute gouache. Just that this is not gouache. This is acrylic paint. That's really flat. So that means you can make a mistake. So if you want to, you can go directly on the other one. Okay? Because you can paint on top if it's not right. Okay, with gouache, there's no way. It's all the gouache. Whatever value is underneath, you cannot get it to come back. You could get it to come back, and it always. If I did it on the lights and try to do this color over again, I would always get that color coming back, and it always make it lighter and lighter, and then get all striated. It becomes a disaster. But in this case, this acrylic gouache is not picking up. It's essentially acrylic paint that's really flat. It's fine. It'll work. All right. Anything else? No. All right. So we still have another hour and a half or so. So if you guys want to get started and set yourself up to do the value scale to at least mix number 5 value, I think it's a perfect time to do that. So maybe you do this, and then if you have questions, I'm still here. There's a couple people that are not on here yet. So I'll wait to talk to them too. And if I repeat this all over again, you're just getting a second dose of it.